Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes. Everyone real quick, put if you can hear me or not. It looks like we're all good. But tonight is the after show for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4. Is that a little too high? Episode 4, Suck My Nuts. I really don't know what it's called. I forget. If I think about it, maybe I can remember what it's called. Sorry we're a little bit late. I decided to check the Map Fan Family Facebook group. They have a pinned post just so people can talk about the show while it's airing. And I wanted to see what some people were talking about, because there was some comments I got briefly on Facebook and Twitter that looked a little bit on the negative side. But yeah, like right here, it was really, really bad. However, I did like it. I think there was some flaws, as always. With, you know, anything has flaws, but I definitely think there was flaws. I still enjoyed it. We're going to get to some of the flaws. So if you're new here, we're going to do a... take this off my neck. We're going to do a 10 to 15 minute first impression review from me, and then after that I'll let you guys know when we're done, and then we're going to move on to the fan feedback from you in the comments. So if you put anything right now, we probably won't see it, but if you want to wait a few minutes, throw something up in your comment, put Q&A, the first thing in your comment, and I will likely see those first, or do my best, because there's so many we can't answer everything. First thing I want to discuss is the King Ezekiel speech. We see certain comments with some fans that are like, okay, enough with the speeches, and there's moments where I'm like, all right, you know, a leader, they're going out to battle, there's going to be a speech, there's going to be something, there's no way you're not going to do it. Even looking at it on a realistic level, there's no way you're not going to do a speech like that. However, I do find myself at times looking for a speech that's not poetic or not epically done. I mean, I think a great example of that is Rick Grimes at the end of Season 5. That finale little speech is one of those perfectly penned, it's a speech but it's not a speech. It kind of has that real, okay, let's cut the bullshit, here it is. With Ezekiel's, because he's theatrical, this is the one where I'm gonna say, if you didn't like that speech in particular, I understand. If you did like it, I get it. I see the pros and cons to both of it, so I'm kind of like at a tie with King Ezekiel's speech. But I do want to recognize the people who are saying, okay, enough with it. However, and I did like his speech. However, at the end of the speech, and him being like, whatever he said at the end, and everyone surrounds him and they start panning up, I was thinking, oh, I like the pan up shots. They do it here and there. And then they had everyone happy and energetic and pray, you know, all the support, you know, propping him up. The king, we're going to go into battle, all that positive energy. Life surrounding King Ezekiel, and they panned up and transitioned to him being covered by his group, and they're all dead. Everyone's dead. Loved it, like so much. Loved that, like alone. I just, oh my god, I was like, oh, I went nuts over that whole beginning. I went nuts over for a number of different reasons. The one thing that took me out of the moment, though, is Daniel. Daniel is the guy with some orange hair. He's a ginger, right? Is that what it's called? Now, he's played by Daniel Newman, I believe is his name. And this is something I would love to bring up. I definitely want to interview him on this channel. He's one I got my eye on. And one of the first things I'm going to ask him is, how, and I went back and looked, at the end of episode 3, he was one of, if not the first person to tackle King Ezekiel. Yet he's like 20 or 30 feet away. And I've seen some people be like, oh, well, maybe he turned and he crawled away as a walk. A walker's not going to crawl away. There's no, you know, unless your legs are broken or cut off, you're not going to crawl. You know, unless his legs are shattered. He's not going to crawl and then fall asleep and then wake back up and let Ezekiel kind of, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Maybe he was still alive because the bullet hole took a chunk out of him. So in my mind, for right now, unless I rewatch it, I'm going to assume that he was somehow covered by people and he crawled away still alive and died. I'm going to assume that because I can't figure out how he got 20 to 30 feet away. And yes, it rips me right out of it, because the thought I had going into this episode was, you know, I like the charisma of Daniel from the Kingdom. I wonder, you know, did he die? Did he get shot? Is his dead body on top of the king? Is that how they're going to start it? But when they started, he's 30 feet away. So yes, I can't put that out of my head and not bring it up. He's nowhere near where he should be. And if there's a logical excuse for that, I'm fine with that. I'm all ears for that. However, this part, I even wrote down, it was magnificent. You have Ezekiel giving this speech in the beginning of this episode. Then they transition to where he's covered by his own group. And then he goes and finds, he crawls away because his leg took like shrapnel, or he got hit with a ricochet or something. And he crawls away, his leg is damaged, and he finds Daniel, and he's all just emotional. And then his own friggin' group, his own crew, his own community, people he loved, people he took care of, rose up as walkers, you know. And he puts on this facade, not so much for himself to be pampered. I mean, come on, look at how Negan lives. If Ezekiel wanted to, he could have you know, bitches all around, feed them grapes and hold them not palm trees, but, you know, just fanning them with nature leaves or whatnot. He doesn't do that. He has a completely different vibe, so he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for his people. Even, I believe they even mentioned it, either in a comic or a TV show, that, you know, his attitude kind of rubs off on the people, and it makes the community positive and uplifting and fun and interesting. So I thought that was just magnificent, having him wounded, being surrounded by his own group. Just incredible. And then they did, the commercial was a little bit of a I wrote down, because I was worried they were going to cut away and have him out of that situation. However, they came back from the commercial and he was still in that situation and had to get away. So in a, you know, commercial, I didn't like the spot where they put it, but they didn't skip the interesting moment. I don't want to jump over to something else, get him the hell out of there. No. I want to see him emotionally, how he deals with getting out of there, and physically being wounded and also get out of there. I loved it. So they picked up right where they left off, and he sees the flowers in the armband, you know, the one girl putting flowers in. Again, ramping up the emotional aspect of it for Ezekiel. You're not supposed to be emotional only for the parent or the mom that died. I believe it was a mom doing it, because a lot of people see that and they'll be like, I don't care about the character. That doesn't make me... It's supposed to be more for propping up or supporting Ezekiel's character, and I think they did great with that. And then we got 1970s iDubbbz, who takes him hostage. Like, what? There was something about the guy, and I don't know if they told him to have that shit-eating grin on the whole time. I just couldn't stick with it, man. It was just ripping me out of the friggin' moment. Just, I don't know. I just so wanted him to get punched in the face. And it was so damn rewarding to have him get split in half. But I wanted to point this out. This was hilarious because we put this at the end of the book. My artist for Doomsday Kingdom did a example concept sketch. Well, you can't see it here, but it's hilarious because it's the guy, the writer, chopping a zombie in half. So that was the first thing I thought of, and I was wondering, I'm like, how many people saw that in the back of the book and thought of that? By no means am I suggesting anything about being copying. Like, that's I can picture that being in a ton of different things, you know? By no means original, someone being chopped in half. But I got a kick out of that personally. What else was I doing? Yeah, his smiling was absolutely ridiculous. And then at the end, for comic book readers, they'll understand this, where he says, you know what, I'm not going to take Ezekiel to the sanctuary for Negan. Negan's going to have to deal with his head on a pike. I was like, oh, you guys are just, you know, you're drowning us in foreshadowing, guys. The Jerry kill was also something I do want to get into in a little bit after we finish the first impression review. Let's talk a little bit about the gore, because this is coming up constantly. And I think there was a good, awesome amount of gore on the battlefield. They did not shy away when it came to the wounds. Now, I don't know if that's something where you could say, well, you know what, they're already dead, they're cutting out them getting blown apart. But at the end of last episode, we did see them get blown apart. And in this episode, we see those open wounds. Those bullets are going to rip through people. We talked about it the other day. The girl got up with no arm. Love that all. So there's moments where I'm like, yes, I do think they toned down the gore in certain areas, but we still got it on some other areas. So for right now, I'm still a little bit back and forth on it. Now, when Jerry does that kill with the guy and splits him in half, yes, you can say they might have toned that down, because it looked like it was missing a little bit of a 2-second shot. I like how it parted ways a little bit, but it looked like it was missing a little more to that shot. You guys let me know how you feel down below, but I just feel like there was something small missing. And I'm not really complaining on it, because I think something like that is kind of, it's stretching the realism a bit. You know, it's grounded in reality. I can't believe we got to go through this every time we talk about realism. No one can jump 50 feet in the air in The Walking Dead, all right? Daryl Dixon's not ripping a full tree out of the ground and batting all of Negan's guys with it. The Walking Dead is grounded in reality, even though they're zombies. And I'm being a dick like that because for the few, the small amount of people who go, it's a zombie show, there shouldn't be realism. That is dumb. I love The Walking Dead so much because it's a zombie show in a realistic environment. So when it comes to him chopping a body in half, I don't know. I'm curious to see what the original shot would look like if there was one. But on the same strength, I'm thinking, man, is that actually better to keep it kind of, you get what I'm saying, so it doesn't look completely unrealistic? So we got Carol doing some badass shit that I really enjoy. Really like that she hid in the ceiling. I didn't see that coming. I thought maybe she would hide behind, you know, an appliance or some shit and then poke out and shoot them all dead. And what else was the Carol trick was a neat idea. Oh, her trick where she distracted them and then she hit the gate and it opened up the gates. I kind of like that. I know they got to get the guys in the truck and get them on the road, but I kind of wish they had more saviors. And then she opens the gate. The guys are like, blocka, blocka, blocka. They get attacked and they turn around and then Carol pops up and she mows some of them down, at least some of them. I got to watch it again. I don't think they did that exactly, but that's what I was like, oh yeah, I like that. But I do like that neat trick. And then when she's thinking about getting them versus helping King Ezekiel, in my head I'm thinking, and I even shot this out on Twitter, why didn't she just shoot out the tires and then go help them? Someone said those tires are bulletproof. And my thing to that is like, still, you could try. I don't care if someone told me, you know, all Humvees have bulletproof tires. In my head, I'm going to think, well, maybe those aren't, you know. Well, maybe those are not real military ones. Maybe they are surplus. They look like military, so they added them to the military, but they never put on bulletproof. It could be anything. Maybe something happened to the tires. Maybe someone traded the bulletproof ones in for crack, and they threw regular I don't know. I've never owned a Humvee. I wasn't in the military. I have no idea. But still, shoot out the damn tires. I doubt Carol, even though she's badass, it doesn't mean she knows about Humvees and the military. Maybe because of Ed, she might have overheard something, or I don't know. But I thought it would have been better if she just tried to shoot out the tires. Yes, we wouldn't have got that awesome scene, and I love that shit. I love where they drive off, and they're like, oh, the guns are getting there. And Carol hears Daryl's motorcycle revving up, and she got this little smile on. Oh, on the inside, I was excited. I was going nuts. I was like, oh, that is the bomb, you know? Because she knows Daryl's out there somewhere. He caught wind of it, or he's coming to check up on them, and he's going to put a stop to it. And then you see them drive off. They wait a beat. I like that. They wait a beat, and then you see Daryl whip by on a motorcycle, and then Rick right after him, and you're like, oh, this is going to go down. He knocks Daryl on the bike, and I like how Rick doesn't even hesitate. He's like, you know, we're all grown here. Daryl can handle his own. I'm not going to baby him. I'm going to keep going. We got a job to do. I thought it was a little, it's a little off with the guy shooting was he shooting the 50 cal? I thought that would have just tore the Jeep up, and it kind of did. It looked like it hit the radiator and everything, but I pictured it would do a lot more damage, and Rick kind of seemed like just chilling, nonchalant, like this is nothing, you know, getting blasted with the big gun. I was kind of nervous with that scene a little bit. It was a little flat, but then when Rick swerves to the side and Daryl's right behind him, I got excited again. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, get the damn thing done. There's a part of me that wanted a little more with that too. I did want just, I don't know. I can't even on top of my head, nothing comes to mind exactly what more, but I kind of did want a little bit more, but I still liked it. So again, if the truck scene, the chase scene, if that action scene did it for you and you liked it, I get why. If it also didn't bring enough and you're a little underwhelmed with it, I also get why. However, that's one of those scenes where I'm like, man, I don't know. Anything I could think of to make it more exciting would have been a lot more money or a lot more time. Maybe they couldn't even pack it into this episode. And then we got the toxic walkers. How about that? Yo, I just seen someone blowing up a number of videos of mine. People are blowing up my Morales video going, now keep in mind, I made a joke video of me getting asked Q&As, and someone asked if Morales is going to be in season 6, and I all it was me, like a 10-second video going, no! I had so many people blow that up and go, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Now, one, I'm wrong. I have no problems admitting it. I'm absolutely wrong. I did not think Morales would come back at all. I had that one sliver of thought that crept in my head, but it was kind of like, and I talked about this before, it was kind of like a nightmare, though. It wasn't like a, oh, I'm going to predict Morales is coming back. No, it was like a, fuck, if they're ever going to bring him back, I think they might now. And then I pushed the idea out of my head. It was that like quick. It was like, no, they're not going to do that. I have no problems admitting I'm wrong. I leave my videos up when I'm wrong. Definitely wrong. However, I said in season 6 he would not come back. And I was right. He never came back in season 6. You didn't ask me about season 8. Not that I remember. But anyhow, so many people are commenting on my old videos. I have a video that's like 3 or 4 months old, right? And I said that Jesus and Morgan would get into a fight and it would just be a bickering thing. And it ended up being just that. I have another one that someone commented on, and then this toxic thing somebody commented on. And I see the notifications when I'm signing on now to do the live stream. It's in the fresh line of all the fresh comments. And I saw somebody commented and they were like, oh, the walkers. Before I said it was some type of chemical, and I thought it would be a weapon. Like the saviors had, you know, bleach and vinegar or whatever you can make to do something to kill people, burn people. And here it was just toxic chemicals in that water. And these walkers were kind of like not stuck, but just too stupid or lazy to walk up the hill and get away from the damn shit. So you had a bunch of them with bleached walkers. And I even said in the one video, those very walkers might just be similar because they had blisters and stuff, but their clothes weren't bleached, you know? But here they were. Some of them had bleached clothes and some of them didn't. So hell's yes on them bringing the walkers. Now, I did predict that it would play a part, you know, or we would see it later on, but it didn't play no part. So I was absolutely wrong on that. It didn't do shit for the story, but it was the moment where Shiva died. And this, I'll have to say, I'm going to get some people calling me a fanboy on this. Shiva, I liked. I liked, but I didn't. Hold on. This one's tricky, more so than the other two. I had no problems with the CGI. I did see a number of comments that are talking like, and when I go back and rewatch it, I will specifically look for CGI moments, but compared to what I was thinking in my head, I think the Shiva scene was the Shiva death scene was a million kajillion times better than what I was afraid we would get. And I guess I was so nervous, but then so relieved. But at the same time, I felt like we didn't get much of the Shiva death, like actually on screen. It felt like there could have been a little more epicness to it. And to add to that, I just don't believe, I absolutely do not believe whatsoever that the tiger would die that quickly. And in my mind, I'm trying to piece it together like, but what kills it? A few bites are not going to kill the tiger. It's going to have a few bites. It might die slowly. You know, did we get a zombie bite in its neck? Did it rip out its throat? I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I need more to 100% absolutely love the scene. You get what I'm saying? But in the same strength, I still like what we got. It's the actual part of the tiger dying. If you're going to say, I don't buy that at all. There's no way those... I do think enough walkers could definitely eat a tiger if it was trying to get away and just didn't get away and it's getting bit. And if it got bit in certain areas, you know what I mean? We had seen walkers down by its legs. I don't know if it bit some kind of muscle and it had trouble, you know, limping away, or it just couldn't muscle through them. I think enough bites, but I think here's where I get put off. I think there's a possibility. I don't think there's any possibility they could eat it that quick and kill it that quick. So that pulls me out of the scene a little bit, but I still ended up liking it for what it was. So that's another one where I'm kind of like, what is this? The reason 5 pound is because AMC wants to save money. You guys are thinking so hard. No, well, I can't read the comments. I can't read them. I can only speak for myself. But when it comes to the tiger and people commenting on it, we all know that. Like, we all get that. I feel like that is, like, thank you, Captain Obvious. Like, yes. Not only are they killing the tiger because it matches perfectly with when the tiger was killed in the All Out War. Yeah, I mean, every comic fan knew this was coming. When they showed this in the trailer, go back and watch the breakdown. I am almost positive I said this very moment was when they were going to kill Shiva. I'm almost positive. And when you see Shiva roar and it's surrounded by walkers in the woods. I did say that. I'm remembering now. We all knew it was coming, all right? The comic fans, because we knew it was in the comic. Now, when it comes to the zombies killing it on the show, yes, we know AMC's going to cut it because of the comic, and because, obviously, if you're going to have a tiger on the show, you can only have it for so long because of the CGI. But we're talking about it in as far as how it plays out realistically on the show. If that is not interesting to you or fun to you, I don't know what to tell you. I love discussion like that. And it's not just simply discussion like that for no purpose. I love that discussion because that discussion leads to better filmmaking. There's 10 people right now in the Matt family that will be filmmakers. Either they'll be, director, writer, whatever. They might not be the next Spielberg. Maybe one of them is. But maybe there's a handful that are, live their lives and they get in the industry and they do this and this and this. A lot of us talk in this specific conversations and discussions online, a lot of people growing up in this time and having this as a community and discussions about TV and how to make it better and what were the complaints, what ripped us out of the moment, that is going to stay with those filmmakers. And I think that's one of the greatest perks with Hollywood today, and me and my brother were just talking about it. If you release a trailer, like the Tomb Raider trailer was so cheesy, there's no way you're gonna drag me to see that. It looks horrendously cheesy, horrible. And when they released the first pictures, I was like, oh, this looks righteous. I'm gonna love this. Trailer drops and it looks like cheesy ass, liquid cheesy ass, and I just, no, I'm not going to see it. I'll red box it. You got my $1. Now, if the studio saw that and they were like, oh man, yeah, the fans are not happy with this. Okay, what are they not happy? Well, it looks cheesy as shit. All right, you know what? Let's go in and tweak some lines. Let's tame some of the cheesiness and let's make an actual good movie. You got every tool in your tool belt as a filmmaker, as a studio. Just release a teaser for the fans, see how they react. If they love the cheesy, give them cheese. If they don't like this, don't do that. So that is a quick or long explanation about why we do discuss the realism in the shows and what we don't love and what we do love, what works and what doesn't. It's for the upcoming filmmakers and the fans, just the fans that are interested in it. There was that, and the last thing, the gore. We touched on this briefly, but you guys let me know in the comments of this video or something else coming up. How do you feel really about the gore? Do you really think they're trimming it down? All of it? Lots of it? A ton of it? Too much of it? Or do you feel like they're not trimming anything down? Or do you feel like me, where I'm kind of like, sometimes I do believe they are trimming stuff down. It could be stuff that, yeah, the guy getting split in half, maybe they said there's no way we can air that. All right, fine. You got it there. But there's some other elements where I'm like, well, there could be more, like the guy getting his face bitten off. We've seen worse than that, in episode 3. We saw Noah get it up close and personal. He got his face peeled off, you know what I mean? If we can see that, come on now, come on now. So I think that's it, unless I forgot anything. I'm pretty sure that is it. All out of iced tea, so I stole one of my daughter's juices. That's it for the first impression review. If you guys got a question you want to ask me personally, I will stop this right here because I see a few Q&As. Put Q&A first thing in your comment. We're going to stop this right here, and I'm going to take a look at the super chats real quick.